Hello, 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 good people. Hello, good people. I am Dr. Hollie Kelly, and this is Dr. Kelly's perspective for Thoughtful Thursday. Thoughtful Thursday, September 12th, 2019. Okay, so I don't have a book this morning, but I do have an excellent podcast for you. First of all, thanks for all who are jumping on, joining in. And let me say this, you know all most of you know I started a new position. So a lot of my reading has been like I've been swimming in work related reading. So I'm working on a couple of books, actually one that my daughter just devoured and she loved it. So I'm going through that one now that I can share with you later. Uh, it's a fiction book. But for today, we have a podcast. I have a podcast for you that I'd like to share with you. A lot of you already are aware that I'm a certified John Maxwell trainer and coach and speaker. And because I think when you're reaching for higher and more, you go to the top and shoot upwards. Okay. And so he has been named the number one leadership guru and the number one transformational leadership expert for several years running. Many of you are very familiar with the dozens and dozens. He has sold more than 50 million copies of his books worldwide. And so he's, I don't know, number 100 and some odd books. He's trained more than 5 million leaders. Hello, hello, kind sir. More than 5 million leaders across the globe in more than 180 countries. He's doing a phenomenal work with, hello, Major Smith. Phenomenal work. Oh, you love Dr. John Maxwell. That's who the leadership podcast is on this morning. The name of the leadership podcast that I'm introducing you to or making you or reminding you of is the John Maxwell Leadership Podcast. That is this week's Thoughtful Thursday selection, the John Maxwell Leadership Podcast. And you can go out there and, on Apple or iTunes or whatever podcast forum you use. Good afternoon, kind sir, Mr. Isaac. So the John Maxwell Leadership Podcast, I believe even though people do not have to be famous or a celebrity to have to make an impact in lives. We all know that. We got neighbors, we got family members that do not fall into the famous category that are transforming lives every day by those that they're surrounded with, by the impact that they're making in their families, in their communities, in their school system. So we know it doesn't have to be big and famous. But I do believe you have to have a trail of success. You have to have done more than just talk a good game. There have to be some receipts that you leave behind. Where are your results? Where's your end goal? What can you point back to and say, that's because she was there. That's because he was there. That's because they made a difference. And so that's where I'm pouring myself and offering to you into the John Maxwell Leadership Podcast. So, he's been the recipient of the Mother Teresa Global Peace and the Global Peace Awards in recognition, the Horatio Alger. He is a member of that very select organization. He has, so some of the topics, everything obviously is all things leadership. But since leadership, his motto is everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And I often say, show me a family, a company, a team, a church, a school, fill in the blank, that is doing things and is successful and is an effective organization or effective family. I can find the breadcrumb trail back to good leadership. But the reverse of that is also true. Show me a company, family, team, church, school that is failing, that is in chaos, that is always in reactionary mode. Even this falls into even marriages, okay? Because marriage is a team. I mentioned the family, the wider community, the nation, even. If it's failing, if it's struggling, if it's breaking down, if it's chaotic, if it's dissected, if it's divided, I will find the breadcrumb trail that leads back to poor leadership, weak leadership, fearful leadership, leadership with no courage, leadership that cannot, does not, will not communicate. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I said that to say that leadership is wide and varied. It's in every aspect of everything we do. Hello, my fellow JMTer, Ms. Mel. So because it impacts every aspect of everything we do, he talks about leadership in all arenas of life. He talks about failure not being final, and he's got the receipts to show it. He's got the, I think, 6 multi-million-dollar businesses that are alive and well, the nonprofits that he leads, that he is a part of. Because he is at that level, he is able to bring on the best of the best in all genres. He knows just about everybody. I've listened to podcasts where he has interviewed, so he's brought on Tyler Perry, Carly Fiorina, Don Yeager, Ed Bastian. I just wrote down a few of them that I've listened to as of late that rung a bell to me. So why wouldn't we take advantage of this tremendous pool of knowledge and wisdom from someone who is living it? Nations invite him in. As in presidents of countries. Presidents of countries invite him in to begin to transform cabinets and impact policy and regulatory compliances. And so he makes a difference because he understands leadership. And more than that, he understands how to teach it, how to train it, how to facilitate to it. So that's my offering for this week. If I'm hopeful that you're a podcaster at this point. We've got some wonderful podcasts out there. Actually, Miss Melanie, who is on with me this morning, does a wonderful podcast, 1550 for one, the leadership. And so I'm just asking you, if you're not familiar, avail yourself to this technology that allows us to bring in the best of the best. People we would never be able to reach out to and pick up the phone and call, or people that we can't get to physically. We know their name. We admire them from afar. A podcast, I hear you, Tanita. I am in love with podcasts. The good ones. I've got several of them going. It's just another opportunity to feed yourself, especially if you are a commuter, if you are a walker or a runner. You can feed yourself with something that's going to leave you in a better place. You don't always have to junk off and waste time and go into mind-numbing foolishness. You can put on an excellent podcast, and one that I'm just today highlighting on my Thoughtful Thursday is the John Maxwell Leadership Podcast. Yes, he does a lot of work on mindset. He speaks to a lot on mindset. So those are just some that I wanted to offer to you today. I think I may be finished with this book by next Thursday. I'm not sure, to give you some more offering. Again, my brain is being enveloped with work readings, but even that to me is delicious. Okay, that is my offering to you today. Whatever mode, whatever medium you use, I'm encouraging you to read. I'm encouraging you to Teach the love of reading to little people who are in your life. Teach them it from a young age. Well, they don't like reading. No, you haven't found anything that whets their appetite. So teach them the makeup that makes up a leader. Part one. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mel. She's so good like that. So that is one. I haven't even dived into that one. The makeup that makes up a leader. Talking about character. I'm sure he is. Okay. That's it for me. That is my offering. Thank you for joining and jumping on with me. Thank you for Mel for co-hosting with me today. I love it. I love it. Until next time, take real good care of yourselves.